Welcome to the Design+Style podcast, a podcast for designers by designers. And I'm Rachel Moriarty, your co-host, and with me is the lovely
Dixie with Dixie Ruler Design.
And today we are on the back end of our long visibility challenge. It's not long. It was
not long because
it's never stopping.
Exactly.
And it was an awesome challenge. Oh my gosh, it was the best challenge.
I love it.
And we're on the back end of it, and we're getting to the point, that week was super exciting. There was a lot of action going on. It was high energy. Everyone was super enthusiastic. But what happens is, after, they had our prompts to go off of, right? We gave them a lot of different strategies to create their own concoction. And now they're sort of almost back to like, well, not back to where they were, but now they're like, okay,
what do I do now?
Yeah, like, okay, well, I went to this one event, so I'm good. Thinking that, like, okay, they're good for like a month,
right?
Because we've been to one in-person event.
So let's start by saying, because I know that there are some people out there who still think that the in-person stuff is all straight up networking stuff.
Right.
Let's talk about the different options that there are, because we can get creative and find way more things than you think of. If you think that you just need to go to that one chamber meeting every month.
Not true.
There are more options out there. The chamber itself, what about ribbon cuttings? I go as an ambassador because that's my job. But now having seen it, even if I wasn't an ambassador, I can tell you, they will put the calendar on their website. They want members of the community to come. That means you.
Tell what happened at your last ribbon cutting, which was a new photographer,
It
right?
was a new photography gallery in town, the town next to us here in the county. I went and I met that photographer. I met his mentor, who called me the next day to talk some more about his work.
Wow.
And I met somebody from a realty group, and that side of town is where you get all of the Smoky Mountain rental cabins and lake houses and stuff like that. So he's a really good person to know.
Just those words put together, Smoky Mountain log cabins.
Yeah. They have log cabins, they have builders.
Shine to the end of that, and I'm there.
It's right in that same neighborhood. It is not a problem to find.
So ribbon cuttings, of course, you mentioned the chamber first. And then ribbon cuttings. But do not think your one mixer a month that the chamber puts out, that you paid your $10, showed up. It's not enough. One-on-one coffees with industry partners, one-on-one coffees with real estate agents, mortgage brokers,
event planners,
connectors, people who know people. That's what we're talking about. It may not be, I'm going to have coffee with somebody and I'm going to pitch to them and I want them to, hire me to decorate their house. But connectors, people that work with lots of people.
People who do construction loans or mortgages. You getting to know your local banker is a good thing. The event planner sees people when they're celebrating graduations or weddings, which is usually about the time that there's something big coming up. And it involves a new house or buying a house or some sort of thing. They are good people to know.
Right. Community service. Dixie does a ton of service projects. And right now is a perfect example. On Saturday, I have a consult with an Episcopal priest. He was the first guy that called me when I had done my prayer that I wanted to use my gifts and talents to be of service because I had a day job. The next day, I got a call from an Episcopal church, which is funny because I don't do commercial. But I did this as a service for a project for him. And now I have done many projects for him in his home. But he had water damage in his home. He's got to do some big decisions, flooring, walls,
Mm-hmm.
paint, stuff that he is not comfortable with. And because I did a service project, I'm
Yeah.
the go-to because we've worked together already,
Yeah.
So don't, service it's not only good to do,
It makes you feel good.
it makes you
And
feel good. To attach your business to a service is
uh-huh.
great as well. And then, you're that expert. You are that design
Mm-hmm.
expert. So community service, new showrooms that you have never stepped foot in before.
Mm-hmm.
They are dying to meet you. You
Oh,
want to meet them as well.
yeah.
Your tile showrooms, if you have a design showroom. Kitchen and bath, we could just go on and on, right?
And living in a new place, I don't know any of the showrooms. And every time I've gone into a showroom and said, hey, I'm a designer, they are so happy to show you around, talk about their stuff, which is invaluable to what you do anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. So one that I have on my list that Dixie doesn't have on her list are these house parties that I get invited to. And what I mean by house parties, it's kind of like, somebody will do a pampered chef party. And usually I know whoever is hosting the party, but I don't know anyone else at the party. So I always use that as an opportunity to meet new people, hand my business card out. If it's Pampered Chef, it's a perfect place to be like, oh my gosh, I just finished the kitchen for my client. This would be a great thank you gift for them. And then everyone kind of does that, like, you're a designer, you're a decorator.
Yep.
I thought so, then that whole thing happens.
Oh, yeah.
I have been to another one called Wine and Succulents, where, the succulents I'm a succulent girl anyway.
I love succulents.
They were so good. The hostess gave me one. She was like, take this. It's a big one. She was like, take this. Not only that, Dixie, but she said, when I have like a photography day, they will come and bring their succulents for me to have as the lives at no cost.
That is awesome.
Yes, and then I'll give them some photos to use.
Okay, I do have one that I didn't mention earlier when you and I were talking. So there are a lot of places that will do things like wine and paint. There's a local clothing boutique that had one not too long ago. And you get to do something fun and you meet people that you wouldn't necessarily meet otherwise, even if it doesn't turn into anything.
No.
The one I went to, she had a friend who just graduated from design school and was able to meet up with me later to talk about things that would help her. So it's a process. It's not just...
Yeah, and there's one other one I want to talk about too, other designers.
Oh, yeah.
I am tight with the designers that live right in my neighborhood, like blocks away, right? You would think that they're your competition, but they're not. They're your best allies. When your tile guy dumps out, when your electrician doesn't show up, when you don't know where to get fabric, you need your other designers to help you find those local resources. You're only as good as your resources, right? And teaming up with other designers is the best thing that I've ever done. I can call one up and say, let's go to an event together. Let's go to this wine thing at this, showroom, or lunch and learn at your, at your local design center. Best to partner up with. On top of that, let me just talk about one more thing. Dixie, we didn't talk about this before. Somebody in the group, in our Design and Style group, if you haven't hopped into our Design and Style group, please hop in. But somebody was asking what to do with all the business cards. So I wanted to ask you, what do you know what I do, and I'll talk about what I do, but
I know what you do. And actually what I do is kind of along the same line. So I will I have one of those apps on my phone where you scan the business card
or something,
and it puts it into your contacts. So when it pops up, instead of having their face, whatever picture, if they were to call you or something, it would pop up with the picture of the business card.
Oh, what is that app? Do you know the name? Is it Genius?
Know.
It's not Genius Scan.
No. I'll have to double check and put it in the show notes whenever we do that. But that's one thing to do. I also have a binder where I keep the ones that are the most useful to me. So if it's a tradesperson, if it's somebody, a banker that I know does a lot of stuff, I will put the really important ones in there. And then I have to say that there are a lot of, around here, everybody says, hey, can I get your card? And I do it all the time. I love to have, my husband gives me a hard time because it's not just at networking stuff. Anytime we go anywhere, I say, can I get your card? Because otherwise I will forget who it is, what it was, where I talked to them. And having that card is a physical reminder to me to go back later. And if I want to meet up with them, I'll call them or send them an email or something like that.
So what I do is I literally will be, so let's say you and I meet and you hand me your card. I will grab your card. I will grab my phone. I will are you on Facebook? Yes. I just sent you a friend request. Here's your card back. Because I throw the cards away immediately. So I want to be connected with them where I am. And then they can start seeing, because I'm so visible online, they can start seeing what I do.
Yeah.
So it kind of backs up oh, I'm an residential interior decorator, blah, blah, blah. Boom, we're connected on Facebook. Next thing you know, I'm popping up on their phone, right?
And that's the other thing, is to definitely connect with them on Facebook.
LinkedIn.
Go to their business page.
Yes.
Like it. If it's somebody you want to do stuff with, start interacting.
Engaging. Exactly. And that's why I do it right then, because to me, I'm setting that expectation that that's how we're going to, that's how we do things here.
Yeah. Whatever works for you is the expectation that you want to set.
Absolutely.
I just want to talk for all of the awkward turtles out there. I met someone a couple of weeks ago, and they called me after they had my card, and talk about awkward turtle, but they still made the point of getting on the phone and giving me a call and saying, hey, if you want to see more, you can go here. And
what do you mean? What was it?
So it was one of the photographers.
Oh, okay.
You could tell that that's not what he doesn't want to be doing that necessarily, but still getting out there and doing it is the important part. And I can so relate. I mean, it got into this whole discussion about how we're both introverts, and it turned out to be a really good conversation. So
I can get behind someone that does that, man. Artist, if you are an artist out there and you are pimping your goods and wares, I am so happy to follow you, and
Absolutely.
Send you
some more.
Love your way. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So that is it. Do not think that, okay, it's July 1st and I have my chamber event. I'm going to check that box and, call it done.
Right.
That's not what we're talking about. That's why we're giving you all of these different ways, things that count as in person.
Which takes us to our second point, which is you can't shove it all into 1 week and call it good for the month.
Especially if you're an introvert.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Because I have to manage my energy. I do energy management. And because I know in-person pulls my energy, if I were to try to fit 5 things in on week 1, just so I could check my in-person box, ability box.
Now, I will say that I might have 1 day a week where I do 3 things.
Woo! A lot of people do. I mean,
but the only time that I do that is when usually I have a coffee, a one-on-one coffee, a one-on-one coffee, a one-on-one coffee, which is not nearly as exhausting. I don't think I could do 3 big events. I know I couldn't do 3 big events in a day.
Right.
I did the vintage market days followed by painting the next night, or that night a couple of weeks ago, and I was toast the next day. I didn't do anything. So spread it out for your own sake.
Especially if you're like us and have to do a lot of energy management. We get that. I mean, we are not telling you to go out and just kill yourself.
And then the other part of that is that if you are spreading it out, not only are you giving yourself a break, but then you don't have that feeling of, well, I'm done. Now what do I do? Which is so easy to have happen. Okay, I got it done, but if you go to one thing, even if it's just while you're there at the chamber thing, you meet up with somebody, get their card and call them, and then set a coffee date for the next week. That counts as 2 things for your month already.
Okay, I have a question. We didn't talk about this. So you do BNI, and part of BNI is setting one-on-one coffee dates, right?
Yes.
Like, I mean, that is the expectation. You know, you're going to get a phone call. They know they're going to get a phone call. How long are these coffee dates? I'm just curious. Like
an hour max.
Wow. Okay.
Max.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm able to do 3 back to back. I'm only driving to one. This is what I do. I'll pick one coffee shop. There are a couple of local ones that I absolutely adore. So I'll pick one of them and I'll say, hey, can you meet me at 9 o'clock? And the next person will be, can I meet you at 10 o'clock? And the next person will be, can I meet you at 11 o'clock? I've got 3 done. I only had to drive once.
Dang, girl.
And it's only taking up 4 hours in my day.
They must love you at that coffee shop too. Like,
oh yeah.
Dixie Willard be bringing in the customers.
Well, it's funny too, because especially Vienna Coffee House here in Maryville, it's where everybody goes to meet up because it's downtown and you see more people while you're there meeting up with whoever you're meeting up with. It's just another way to reinforce. Like that's what that coffee shop lives for.
Yeah.
It's to connect people. And they've got really good coffee. Really good coffee.
Well, sold. So there. Okay, that's great. Thank you, because I was always wondering, like, I'm so awkward. Well, I'm not awkward one-to-one, but nice. I get that it's that anxiety of like, the meeting with this person, like, what am I going to talk about? So,
and in that case, you're both talking about your business anyway. It's like, can you tell me about your business? And then they'll ask you questions and you'll answer back. And that's like, they even have, if you want to get really technical, they have a form that you can follow. It's made for awkward turtles.
Oh, like, perfect.
If you need help, they've got it laid out step by step. I'm a rebel. I don't follow it. But
you are. You're so rogue. You're a maverick.
Oh, I've always loved Maverick.
And is that?
I think that covers pretty much it. The final point still is part of our second point, which was, for the love of God, take a break, people.
Take a break, but don't take a break. Do not stop.
Take a break, but don't take, like, you don't need a 3-week break.
Take a pause.
Let's pace ourselves a little, spread it out a little bit. It gives you a better pace. It makes it easier to keep up with. It's just making sure that you're consistent and keep doing it, not, I'm going to get this all done as much as I can, which is so tempting because you're like, I don't want to do this. I want to. Sammy and Sadie want to help.
Sammy and Sadie. I guess it's time to wrap this episode up. All right, you guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Design and Style podcast. Dixie, are you able to tell all our friends? No, there must be somebody doing a delivery. You can watch this, or you can join us at the Design and Style .club. Dixie's trying to help. She's usually doing this. Now I know that I need to post it. We will put in the show notes where you can hook up with us, but definitely hop into our club. That is the funnest place. Somebody called it summer camp because it is so high energy. We are in there. We are engaging. We are getting to know each other. We are being visible. We are supporting each other. And, just so much goodness. We have so much awesomeness coming. So come join us in the club. All right, you guys.
And I actually am able to say it is facebook.com/groups/Design and Style Club. And goodbye, FedEx.
Bye, FedEx.
Bye, guys.